Nubby the ceratosaurus was born on a lovely day. She remembers it fondly because she was not trampled to death within the first 15 seconds of life. Before the 30-second mark, the air is filled with the beautiful sound of a Yudi being murdered. And wee Nubby is proud of the parents of the ceratosaurus pack that she has found herself a part of. But unfortunately for the other ceratosauruses in the area, they seem to have forgotten that they had another egg laying around, and seem mostly perplexed by this tiny little ceratosaurus dropped into their midst. Though eventually they realize that this little ceratosaurus probably belongs to somebody and invite it along for the ride. Temperaments are lukewarm at best. Nubby's glad she went with the plus defense subspecies. A thick skin's gonna come in handy here. Ah, that's alright though. Nothing like playing in a corpse to make you feel better about yourself. Still being alive. Rawr, look at her go.
Oh no, it's gonna eat me.
Though maybe not the best place to hide from scavengers. Nubby does not like the taste of Yudi. It is fuzzy, gamey, and gross. Nubby is learning that having stubby little legs attached to a tiny potato body makes it very difficult to keep up. Made even more apparent when nobody's gonna wait up for your tiny little runty ass. It's looking like a dangerous world for a tiny little hatchling, especially the delicious and unsupervised little babies. When the mapes get a little too close for comfort, poor Nubby panics. Like any good hatchling, she starts screaming for help. Luckily, it seems to work. Even Nubby is mildly surprised. Maybe it's a streak of familial obligation, or maybe it's just an excuse to fight something. Either way, Nubby is thankful. Ceratos might not be the warm and fuzzy parents that Yudis are, but sometimes it's good to have a rock-steady brawler. For a parent, or cousins, or whoever the heck these guys are, most likely related to Nubby. What's this? Apparently Nubby had a sibling this whole time. Luckily the parents, or whatever, intervened just in time. The Yudi may have been taken care of, but there's other issues being a tiny ceratosaurus. Hopefully she looks enough like a pebble to be left alone. Yudi is still gross, but Nubby is too hungry to care. Nubby is still a tiny hatchling, and much to her disappointment, the sibling is older, bigger, and apparently more loved. At least Nubby's parents are still pretty good at yelling at birds. But either way, after some quiet contemplation, Nubby realizes she needs to do something to be better. She decided she was going to get every flower, every rock, every mushroom, every whatever, for strength. This plan, of course, can be a little bit hindered whenever your parents decide to ditch you for the next region before you're even done. But yeah, whatever, she thinks mushrooms are dumb anyways. She'll leave mushroom gathering to the Allosauruses. Seems like more their thing. Nubby's mother, or possibly third cousin, she's still not sure, teaches a quick but important moment about the fragility of life by getting way too close to a Deinosuchus, but mom/third cousin's body. Provides an excellent opportunity to finally get some of this sweet, sweet lake weight for some much deserved marks. Baby's trying to upgrade, okay? Can't do that broke. But oh, what's this? A tooth from Nubby's mother cousin? This just might be the best thing her parents have ever done for her. Nubby's moving on up. It's already paying off with Thrash, a must-have for every child with neglectful parents. Fierce, quick, and reliable, when you can't depend on others. Despite ceratosauruses having evolved out of leap, some of the young and runty ones still feel a need to jump off cliffs. Not their best decisions. But no worse for the wear. Nubby's sibling has also gotten a trophy. Must be nice being the favorite. Nubby remembers not being given a trophy as a 32-year-old child. She's not jealous though. It's good that Nubby's sibling gets attention, love, and gifts. It's fine. Definitely not regretting that plus defense. But on the bright side, there's compies. Compies are cute. And pretty. Maybe Nubby will get a cave somewhere, start feeding the local compy population until she has a cave full of compies and might feel an emotional void inside of her. Or maybe not. As a fresh young juvenile, Nubby has decided to impress her parents by showcasing her cackling war laughter that ceratosauruses are famous for. They are not impressed. And a local mape laughs at her efforts. That's right, brush it off, little buddy. But at least some members try to be a little encouraging and show her how it's done. Well, this newfound sturdiness even seems to have the pack more willing to protect her. It's almost like they finally remembered that she was there. How nice. But the chickens still make her nervous. In fact, this whole soup bowl of carnage makes her nervous. Oops, they ditched her again. Accidentally getting eaten by a sauropod would probably be a rough way to go. Nubby decides to hang out with the cool parent because they have a compy. Oh well, Nubby decides they can still be the cool parent that lets them chill on a rock. But that's okay. Nubby's sturdy. She gets invited back to the pack, decides to play with the loading screen at Ripple Beach. She does this for a good number of minutes until she gets bored. Wanders off and decides to do some quests. It's not until she's completed all the quests in Ripple Beach that she realizes nobody's coming for her. But luckily, after asking, a few more minutes later, somebody sends a courtesy waystone. Poor Nubby can't help but notice that there's some kind of deal going on between her Cerato family and the Latins. And having just been murdered by Latins, she's not exactly feeling the warm and fuzzies. Cerato family is not into giving trophies to runty babies. Okay, maybe the bird's not so bad. Apology accepted. Nubby apologizes for being in his salad because EOs are scary. Luckily, a new conflict allows Nubby to sneak in and get a drink of water while they're distracted. The pond has become infested with gators of late. Questing an IC for a young one can be very difficult. Nubby tries to call out for her people, but unfortunately under the current gator anarchy, they can't hear her pitiful little barking cries. She does make it over to where her sibling is farming rocks, and opts to hide. It sort of works, but then the little bird starts attacking her sibling. A bit of mistaken identity, it would seem. These birds seem unaware of how much damage Thrash does to little attached Latins. Also, nobody noticed that the other sibling was getting attacked for a hot minute. Ah, family dinners. It's a good one, everybody can get it together. Too bad Nubby doesn't seem to think that Latins taste any better than Uties. And all of a sudden, Nubby feels the love. One of her parents finally gave her a feather trophy. She would have treasured it forever. But unfortunately, she's still on a cooldown timer. But she appreciated the gesture. Unfortunately, Nubby's sibling went missing, and his body was never found. Luckily, Nubby flourished as an only child, only becoming tougher as time passed. Tough life, tough kid. but emotionally unavailable. It's tough being small enough to get pushed around. Not big enough to do much about this nonsense, but still old enough to realize your parents are making terrible decisions. It's a new age for Nubby. More bad parental shenanigans ensue. Nubby's slowly figuring out that you can't really help somebody else with their raptor problem. But either way, Nubby's learned some new moves. Having successfully chased off the raptor, it's back to their kill, or scene of an accidental death anyways. What a combination of good luck, bad luck. Luckily, that raptor's aim is as bad as Nubby's. And it's also lucky that Nubby's family has a body nearby. One that should allow them to recuperate just long enough to become less appetizing to the local raptors. Small blessings. Well, how's that? Well, Nubby's not feeling very lucky anymore. Unlike her parents, Nubby doesn't really feel like the center of crater is the best place to try to heal. Well, that's one less parental unit. Nubby tries to not take it personally when they both decide to get the wayward parent. That's not a ceratosaurus. Nubby decides to go ahead and take this moment to go ahead and get a little bit tougher. If anyone has anything to say about her emotional state, they can just bite her cold, dead tail. One server restart. Nearly a subadult with no emotional connection to her parents. No desire to stay in the place that she had been raised. Nubby decides to go ahead and strike out on her own. Nubby decides Berserkers is the best way to handle her bodily emotions. Nubby had managed to score a pretty sweet cave, but unfortunately was unable to be there long enough to talk some compies into moving in with her. All the ruckus in the neighborhood wasn't helping. Now what do you know? A ceratosaurus that isn't related to her. What a nice change of pace. Takes a second, but she's finally able to get his attention. She had seen what he was trying to do, and she's more than willing to help. Anything to override the taste of Yudi, or any other little beast with feathers. Her Doomfound buddy's all in. Nubby's a little more cautious. Oh, this herd brought bite-sized snacks. How considerate. A little tricky to get to, but surely not impossible. A new baby joins the herd. A tender, juicy, less of a choking hazard baby. The duo realizes they may need to change tactics. They sit the fight out for a while, regaining health and time, and change their target. Nubby really wishes her partner would stop angering the local EO herds, especially when they no longer have any tender snacks. Her packmate's not exactly hungry enough to pursue the matter. He makes a comment about how the scars are kinda cool. Nubby doesn't mention that she already had scars, most of them emotional. Her partner seemed to have an unhealthy fixation on adult EOs. He must have never gotten between them and their salad as a youngster. The past seems doomed to repeat itself. She really wants to tell him that a good charged fight's not the way to go. Not for raptors, anyway. But as luck would have it, Nubby notices another ceratosaurus. It's taken a little bit of time and a bunch of new packmates, but Nubby has decided that it is now time for all for one. Nubby is fascinated by her packmate's ability to drink water safely, it would seem. Good, because it sounds dangerous. Nubby is not happy with this turn of events, but there's not much even 3 ceratosauruses can do against a pair of gigas. Nubby's partner is still hungry and happens to find his favorite snack, young unattended EO Triceratops. Nubby's more than happy to help out. And after tenderizing it with their feet, Nubby enjoys something that isn't feathered, and perhaps it's the emotional growth, or maybe a slew of pulverized infants. But whatever the reason, Nubby finds herself thinking about the future. And that's gonna be it for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.